the lack of parent involvement in the school. And, you know, I'm usually an easygoing person, and I like to be diplomatic, and I sort of like to find the balance on how we can do things, because I believe that you know, coming to the table and having discussion and bringing people together is the way that you can, you know, do things in a positive way and get a good outcome. But, you know, to say that there's lack of parent involvement in the school is just, you know, it's an outrage. This is the first time in my 7 years as a council member that I've gone to a public hearing in a school and I see these many parents. You know, the education that the kids should be receiving. I don't think that they should be penalized for whatever mismanagement happened at the leadership. I want to ask you, Deputy Chancellor, you're new to DOE. You and our new Chancellor are just coming on board. I really want to implore you to listen to what these parents have to say, to take the concerns back, to rethink closing this school. I mean, I understand that, you know, we're talking about a phase-out, and the phase-out means, you know, we don't accept new students in school, but the current students will get to finish out the year. But that also has an impact on our community, because it means that the rest of the schools that we have in the district are going to be extremely overcrowded. That we're going to, you know, come the next school year, offices like mine will be flooded with the calls that they get flooded with every September, that my child doesn't have a seat in the school, that we have kindergarten and third graders waiting 2 or 3 weeks to get into school. And you know, I think it's unfair. So it's not, you know, when we talk about the future, it's not only the future of the kids, of the students that are here now, is the future of the students that will eventually be entering this school. The physical structure is just a physical structure. I think, you know, if we took time to pump the resources that were needed here to be able to support the leadership of the schools, and I think the school, you know, would have been performing better. I mean, the teacher read the grades of the school, and while they may not be the best in the eyes, you know, of the DOE system, I don't think that you know, their grades that, as per the DOE policies, qualifies for the school to be phased out. I think we need to give this school a serious consideration. I think, you know, instead of wanting to bring in 2 and 3 schools and eventually end up spending more resources and paying principals and more teachers, take those resources and let's find that principal that can make this a learning community. I have PS 36, I have PS 69, I have PS 100. They do extremely well because the leadership there works as a body. I see some folks from Sariga. We've been at those schools together. They perform well, but it's the culture that the school has. I think we need to give this school that opportunity. Let's find that leadership, that culture here, to say that, you know, it's not about us, it's about these students, it's about this community, and let's move this community forward. I'm available to work with DOE anytime. I know my office is always bugging Jose and the folks at Sariga. I know that sometimes they probably see my number and it's like, what does she want now? Because I truly care. I've been invited to some of the schools when they're working on their comprehensive educational plan. You know what? They involve their parents, they involve people in the community, because they want to make sure that they can use every resource wisely and that the students at the end of the day are doing good. So, you know, my sincere hope is that you see how the parents feel here today and you take it back and you take, you know, with much respect to all the work that has been done from from CEC and from the panel. I know it's not easy going out to schools. I know it's not easy going out to communities, you know, and sort of feeling the heat. But this is this is years and years and years of frustration, of parents not being heard. I am asking you to please listen to this panel. Thank you.
Representative for Assemblyman Peter Rivera.
Good evening. It's actually Danny Figueroa. I usually go by Daniel Figueroa III, but I'd rather be less formal this evening. I am here on behalf of Assemblyman Peter Rivera. He is the Speaker Pro Temp. He represents you in the 76th Assembly District. Speaker Pro Temp is a position of leadership, and he's on his way down from Albany, and he couldn't be here, but he asked me to share his thoughts, and I'd like to also share my thoughts with you. I am a resident of this community for approximately 26 years now. I raised my children here. The Assemblyman has been the Assemblyman here for 17 years, and I'd like to think that we have a pulse on the community, and we kind of understand what is going on in our neighborhoods. This community here we know to be at Stratton Park, where CS102 sits, and we've always found it to be a very vibrant, energetic, and involved school. We were very surprised to find out that DOE wanted to phase and close this school out. In fact, to be honest, we were very shocked. So we did a little homework. Now, not only are there progress reports that you have passed as a school, but then you have these quality review reports. And some of your quality review reports are actually inconsistent with the environmental impact studies that the DOE is using to justify closing down the school. Then they did student surveys and teacher surveys and parent surveys. And when you look at the numbers, they surveyed maybe 100 people. There are more than 100 people in this room right now. They're basing decisions on the opinions of less than 100 people. One of your education impact surveys says that they met with the community to feel the community out, to get the community's opinion. There were 20 people there. 20 people! That's ridiculous. This is hypocrisy, the epitome of hypocrisy. Next week on Thursday, they are going to make a decision, but they came to hear you tonight because this decision was already made. In another week or so, you're going to have another joint public hearing to talk about the 2 schools that they want to put in here because they want your opinion. No, they already made that decision. They want to put those 2 schools in here. And I don't know about you, but I'm not waiting for Superman. I don't want a charter school. I want my public school. You guys are a tough crowd. So let's talk about a little more homework. They tried to close a school down in Brooklyn, I think it was. Now, I could be wrong because, you know, it's my opinion and I did the reading myself. But you have this educational impact study that you do, and they justify that you've got to close and phase out 102. But you know what they failed to do? There's another school in here, the Bronx Little School. So you can't do just one educational impact study, you have to do 2. And so Commissioner Steiner was prevented from phasing out the school because they didn't do a separate study. So I tell you, this is more than emotion. I got evidence, I got facts. You cannot close this school down.